Have you ever felt like your entire day was ruined from the moment you woke up? The alarm blares, you scramble out of bed late, check your phone, and find a flood of emails, messages, and looming deadline. A chaotic start often sets the tone for a chaotic day, but it doesn't have to be this way. The Stoics, great thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, understood that each morning is an opportunity to shape your mind's actions and ultimately your life. You don't need a perfect morning routine like the ones glorified on social media. What matters is mastering yourself before the world masters you. Today, we'll explore 10 Stoic morning habits that will help you cultivate calm, resilience, and self-discipline in the face of life's challenges. Remember, you cannot control circumstances, but you can control how you begin your day. 1. Start your day with a proactive mindset. Each morning, we face a choice. Drift aimlessly like a ship carried by the tide, or take control and steer our day with intention. Most people fail to realize that how they begin their morning determines how they face the challenges ahead. A day that starts in haste, chaos, and anxiety often leads to a series of poor decisions. Conversely, a morning shaped with purpose allows us to remain steady, composed, and fully equipped to channel our energy toward meaningful goals. The Stoics did not let fate or circumstances dictate their state of mind. They understood that each day is a test of character, and how they approached it defined who they were. Imagine yourself as a warrior entering battle. No one steps onto the battlefield without a strategy, without a goal. You cannot control everything that will unfold, but you can control how you respond. And the best way to do that is to begin your morning with a proactive mindset. The moment you wake up, resist the urge to plunge into obligations, tasks, and the relentless demands of the world. Take a brief moment to set an intention for the day. Ask yourself, what is my most important goal today? Do not let your day pass without direction. A day without purpose is like a ship setting sail without a compass. You will be swept away by endless distractions, external demands, and in the end, a sense of exhaustion and frustration from having accomplished nothing truly meaningful. But if you start your day with clarity, you will have the motivation to act, the focus to ignore distractions, and the strength to remain steadfast in the face of unexpected challenges. The Stoics also believed that whatever happens in a day is an opportunity to train the mind. Instead of fearing potential problems, prepare yourself to face them with composure. A powerful exercise is premeditatio malorum, envisioning difficulties before they arise. Ask yourself, if something goes wrong today, how will I respond? When you have already considered the answer, you will not be thrown off course by frustration or negativity. Instead of reacting impulsively, you will respond with reason and tranquility. This is the difference between being ruled by circumstances and mastering them. Starting your day with a proactive mindset is not a one-time act. It is a habit that must be cultivated daily. See each morning as a fresh beginning, a chance to shape your future. What you do in the first 30 minutes after waking up can determine your mood, energy, and productivity for the entire day. So use those first moments wisely. Set your direction, affirm your control, and remind yourself that you are not a victim of fate. You are the architect of your own destiny. 2. Limit screen exposure. Right after waking up, what is the first thing you do when you open your eyes in the morning? If your answer is reaching for your phone, scrolling through notifications, messages, emails, or the latest news, then you may have placed yourself in a reactive state from the very start. Checking your phone immediately after waking up is like opening your front door and letting the entire world rush in, pulling you into a flood of information, pressures, and external expectations before you've had the chance to center your own mind. The Stoics understood that our minds in the morning are like a blank canvas, and whatever we imprint on them first will shape the rest of the day. When you wake up, your brain is still transitioning from sleep to full awareness. This is the moment when you have the power to direct your thoughts, set your mental state, and prepare your energy for the day ahead. But if you immediately dive into work emails, negative social media updates, or a flood of unread messages, you've already lost the chance to take ownership of your morning. Instead of asking yourself, "What do I want to accomplish today?" you begin the day reacting to what others demand of you. This makes it easy to be overwhelmed by stress, pressure, and distractions that pull you away from your most important goals. The Stoics did not avoid reality, but they understood that the mind cannot maintain clarity when it is constantly bombarded by external stimuli. The moment you check your phone after waking, your brain releases a surge of dopamine, trapping you in a cycle of reactive behavior. This makes it harder to focus, increases stress, and weakens your ability to take charge of your day. If your morning starts by engaging in matters unrelated to your purpose, chances are the rest of your day will be dictated by others instead of being guided by your own intent. Challenge yourself to delay checking your phone for at least 30 minutes after waking up. Instead of reaching for your device, take a few deep breaths, set your intentions, drink a glass of water, or simply sit in silence for a moment to feel the clarity settling in your body. When you take charge of your thoughts and actions in those first moments, you send a clear message to yourself. You control your life, not your phone. A morning rooted in mindfulness and intention will allow you to work more effectively, think more clearly, and remain unaffected by the distractions of the outside world. The Stoics did not reject technology, but they mastered the art of using it with purpose, rather than allowing it to dictate their lives. And the key to achieving this lies in how you choose to begin your day. 3. Practice gratitude. We often start our day thinking about what we lack, the unresolved problems, or the challenges that await us. This unintentionally puts us in a state of scarcity and anxiety, burdening our minds with pressure before the day has even begun. But the Stoics understood that fulfillment does not come from having more. It comes from recognizing what we already have. They believe that gratitude is not an abstract concept, but a powerful tool that allows us to govern our thoughts, shift our perspective, and remain steadfast in the face of life's adversities. Practicing gratitude does not mean ignoring reality or pretending that everything is perfect. On the contrary, it helps us reframe our thoughts, shifting focus from what is missing to what is present. When you wake up in the morning, instead of letting your mind be consumed by worries and uncertainties, take a moment to reflect on 3 things you are grateful for. They do not have to be grand. Perhaps simply the gift of a healthy body, a roof over your head, or a friend who walks alongside you in life. The significance lies not in what you have, but in the awareness that you have it. Marcus Aurelius, one of Rome's greatest emperors and a dedicated Stoic philosopher, reminded himself each morning that he was fortunate to wake up, to be alive, and to have another opportunity to do what is right. By reinforcing his appreciation for what truly mattered, he maintained both humility and resilience, even in the face of great adversity. Gratitude is not something to practice only when life is smooth. In fact, it is most vital when we are confronted with hardship. A Stoic does not lament what they lack. They find appreciation even in challenges, understanding that difficulties are opportunities for growth. Try a simple habit. Before starting your day, Write down 3 things you are grateful for. It could be a loved one, a new opportunity, or even a lesson learned from yesterday's failures. Over time, you will come to realize that life is not as deprived as you once thought. Hardships will pass, but your mindset will determine whether you emerge stronger or succumb to them. The Stoics knew that true wealth does not lie in what we possess, but in how deeply we appreciate what we already have. 4. Embrace discomfort. Train the mind to endure. We live in an age where comfort is glorified, where a simple touch of a button can fulfill nearly every need, from food and entertainment to communication. But this very ease has unknowingly weakened human resilience, making us fragile in the face of even the smallest challenge. The Stoics understood that strength is not forged in moments of ease, but in the crucible of adversity. A resilient mind is not shaped by favorable circumstances, but by deliberately confronting and accepting discomfort as an inherent part of life. One of the core principles of Stoicism is voluntarily placing oneself in uncomfortable situations to cultivate endurance. This does not mean self-inflicted suffering, but rather intentionally introducing small challenges so that when real adversity strikes, we are prepared to face it with composure. A simple yet effective way to practice this is taking a cold shower in the morning. When the icy water touches your skin, your body instinctively recoils, seeking escape from discomfort. But if you consciously take a deep breath, relax, and accept the sensation, you'll realize that the initial fear existed only in your mind. And when you step out, you won't just feel more awake, you'll feel as though you've already conquered your physical challenge of the day. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, advised that everyone should occasionally live as if they were poor, eating simple meals and wearing coarse clothing, regardless of their wealth. Not because he romanticized hardship, but because when we voluntarily experience scarcity, we strip away the fear of it. The same principle applies to modern life. When we train our willpower by stepping outside our comfort zone, we are less likely to be caught off guard or defeated when true hardship arises. Find ways to incorporate small challenges into your daily routine. Waking up earlier than usual, pushing through a difficult workout, fasting for a few hours, or walking instead of driving. Each of these small acts not only strengthens your perseverance, but also teaches you a vital lesson. You are stronger than you think. The Stoics believe that comfort does not create greatness. It is the challenges we face and how we respond to them that define who we become. 5. Focus on the 3 most important tasks of the day. Each day we wake up to dozens, sometimes hundreds, of tasks demanding our attention. Unanswered emails, unfinished projects, endless meetings, and countless distractions compete for space in our minds, leaving us overwhelmed. When caught in an endless to-do list, we easily lose direction, feeling exhausted yet unfulfilled. But the Stoics did not allow external demands to dictate their pace. They understood that if we do not deliberately choose what matters, we will be consumed by what doesn't. Instead of trying to do everything, they focused on 3 essential tasks each day. 3 things that, if completed, would bring a sense of accomplishment and purpose. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and dedicated Stoic, spent each morning reflecting on his thoughts, determining what truly deserved his effort. He refused to be distracted by trivial matters or the noise of the imperial court, choosing instead to focus on what aligned with his greater mission. This principle applies just as well today. Rather than letting an endless list control you, ask yourself, what are the 3 most important things I must accomplish today? By identifying your priorities, you minimize distractions and channel your energy into what truly matters. Focusing on 3 key tasks not only enhances productivity, but also reduces mental strain. When overwhelmed by too many obligations, we fall into the trap of being constantly busy, yet never truly effective, chasing tasks without making meaningful progress. But by narrowing our focus each day to 3 crucial objectives, we cultivate intentionality, ensuring that our efforts lead to real results. This does not mean neglecting smaller tasks, but rather prioritizing what has the greatest impact on our growth and well-being. Try implementing this principle today. Before diving into your work, write down the 3 most important tasks you must complete. They may relate to your career, personal growth, or relationships, but they must hold real significance for you. When you take command of your time and energy, you no longer feel like a mere cog in the machine. You become the architect of your own path. The Stoics did not let their days slip by aimlessly. They treated each one as an opportunity to move closer to their highest potential. 6. Train your body. A strong mind requires a strong body. The Stoics understood that the mind and body are inseparable. A strong mind cannot exist in a weak body, and a neglected body drags the spirit into stagnation, laziness, and instability. If we seek mastery over life, we must begin by mastering our physical selves. It is no coincidence that great Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus emphasized the importance of physical health. They did not merely train their minds, but also conditioned their bodies daily, knowing that physical strength lays the foundation for mental resilience. However, training the body in a Stoic manner does not mean spending hours at the gym or chasing unrealistic fitness ideals. It is a commitment to maintaining a body strong and enduring enough to withstand life's challenge. A well-conditioned body not only enhances efficiency, but also improves emotional control, builds perseverance, and sharpens mental clarity. Think back to the last time you felt exhausted, unmotivated, or sluggish. Chances are, your body was also inactive, deprived of movement and energy. When the body is weak, the mind becomes vulnerable, easily swayed by negative emotions. But with just a light workout, a few stretches, or a simple walk in the fresh air, the shift is immediate. Your mind clears, your spirit lifts, and your motivation surges. Make movement an essential part of your morning routine. You don't need high-intensity workouts or complex equipment. Just 10 to 15 minutes of simple exercises like push-ups, planks, yoga, or a light walk can awaken your body, improve circulation, and stimulate your brain. The Stoics did not seek comfort. They knew that the body only grows stronger when challenged, and the mind only becomes unbreakable when it learns to push past physical limits. So don't see physical training as a chore. View it as a tool for self-improvement, a discipline that makes you more resilient in life. A strong mind cannot thrive in a weak body. Train both, for together they form the foundation of a life under your control. 7. Affirm positive principles to yourself. Each day we wake up to an endless stream of thoughts, and not all of them are empowering. Some mornings, you may feel discouraged, doubt yourself, worry about work, feel the weight of responsibilities, or simply believe you are not strong enough to face the day's challenges. This is not unusual. The human brain is wired to focus on risks and difficulties rather than opportunities. But the Stoics understood that we must not allow our minds to be ruled by negativity. Instead of letting emotions dictate our day, we can actively reprogram our thinking, guiding our thoughts in a way that makes us stronger, calmer, and more prepared for whatever lies ahead. One of the most effective ways to do this is through morning affirmations. Positive affirmations are not empty cliché, wishful mantras. They are tools to remind yourself of what you can control, the values you uphold, and the strength you already possess. When you wake up, instead of letting negative thoughts take hold, stand in front of a mirror and tell yourself, "Today, I will master my emotions," or "I have the strength to face any challenge that comes my way." When you repeat these words, you are rewiring your brain's response to the world, building a mental framework that keeps you steady in the face of adversity. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that he would encounter envy, deceit, and selfishness. Yet he refused to let those things disturb his inner peace. You can do the same. If you are facing a difficult day, tell yourself, "I cannot control circumstances, but I can control my response." If anxiety about an upcoming challenge arises, remind yourself, "I have overcome hardships before, and this will be no different." These affirmations do not change reality, but they change how you approach it, helping you stay focused, resilient, and free from the grip of negative emotions. Make morning affirmations an essential part of your routine. When repeated often enough, they become ingrained in you, shaping the way you think, feel, and act. The Stoics did not believe in fate. They believed in the power of the mind, and a strong mind begins with the words you tell yourself each day. 8. Practice conscious breathing. Breath is always present in our lives, yet most people never pay attention to it. We breathe instinctively, letting the body handle it without a second thought. But the Stoics understood that breathing is more than just a biological function. It is the bridge between mind and body, between chaos and tranquility. When we are anxious, stressed, or angry, our breath becomes shallow and rapid. When we are calm and in control, our breathing slows and deepens. This means we do not need to wait for our emotions to shift before adjusting our breath. We can take control of our breath to change our emotional state. The Stoics did not allow themselves to be swept away by external events. They understood that while the world around them was beyond their control, their breath was always within their grasp. That is why one of the most important morning habits is to spend a few minutes practicing conscious breathing, focusing entirely on each inhale and exhale. A simple yet highly effective technique is to inhale for 4 seconds, hold the breath for 4 seconds, and then exhale slowly for 4 seconds. This not only increases oxygen flow to the brain, but also stabilizes the nervous system, pulling the mind away from restless thoughts and into a state of clarity and stillness. Marcus Aurelius once said that the mind is easily carried away by negative emotions, but we always have the power to bring it back to balance. Breath is the tool to do so. When you practice conscious breathing, you are cultivating control, ensuring that you do not react impulsively to emotions. Think back to a time when you felt anger, anxiety, or stress. If, in that moment, you had paused, taken a deep breath, held it briefly, and then exhaled slowly, you would have noticed your emotions softening with each breath. This is not magic. It is simply the natural way the mind and body function. When we take charge of our breathing, start your day with a simple breathing exercise for 3 to 5 minutes. Sit still. Close your eyes if you prefer. Place a hand on your abdomen to feel each breath and focus solely on its rhythm. If thoughts arise, let them pass without judgment and gently bring your attention back to your breath. As you develop this habit, you will realize that breathing is not just a way to relax. It is a powerful weapon for mastering life. The Stoics did not wait for calmness to find them. They trained for it, one breath at a time. 9. Assess your progress. Life is a continuous journey forward, yet many go through it without ever pausing to reflect on the path they have taken. We constantly look ahead, setting bigger goals, but rarely take the time to ask ourselves, how have I progressed? The Stoics understood that growth is not a sudden event, but the result of small, consistent steps taken each day. Without self-reflection, we fail to recognize how we have changed, where we have gained strength, and what adjustments we need to make to improve. This is why self-assessment is a crucial habit, one that should be practiced daily. Seneca once said, "If a man does not know to what port he is sailing, no wind is favorable." Without tracking our progress, we risk drifting through life without direction, losing sight of what truly matters. A simple yet effective way to prevent this is keeping a self-evaluation journal, either in the morning or evening. Write down what you did well, what could have been better, and what obstacles are holding you back. This practice not only sustains motivation, but also deepens your awareness of your own habits and behaviors. The Stoics did not expect perfection. They expected progress. They knew that every small step forward, whether in refining one's mindset, mastering emotions, or overcoming a challenge, held immense value. In his personal writings, Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of areas for improvement, not as a form of self-criticism, but as part of the growth process. If you made a mistake yesterday, do not dwell in regret. See it as a lesson, an opportunity to improve today. If you accomplished something worthwhile, acknowledge it. For self-awareness is what fuels sustainable progress. Each morning or evening, take a few moments to ask yourself, in what way am I better today than I was yesterday? Or, what can I do differently to improve? Do not wait for major milestones to feel a sense of progress. Every significant transformation begins with the small, deliberate actions you take daily. As this habit becomes part of your routine, you will not only see your growth more clearly, but also feel more motivated, more in control of your journey, and steadily becoming the strongest version of yourself. 10. View every challenge as an opportunity for growth. Life rarely unfolds as we expect. There will always be days when everything seems to work against you. Plans fall apart, unforeseen failures arise, and obstacles appear insurmountable. But what matters is not what happens to you, but how you perceive and respond to it. The Stoics did not see challenges as setbacks, but as an inevitable part of life, an opportunity to train themselves and grow stronger. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that instead of lamenting adversity, we can learn to use it as a means of self-improvement. Every difficulty you encounter is a test, an opportunity to see whether you can control your emotions, maintain reason, and act wisely. If you lose your job, it may be a chance to reassess your path and pursue something more aligned with your values. If you fail at an important project or project, it is an opportunity to learn, and return stronger. If you are betrayed or treated unfairly, it is a lesson in trust and in choosing those you surround yourself with. The Stoics believe that everything that happens can serve as a lesson, if we choose to see it that way. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" When you shift your perspective, you realize that no challenge is truly a failure, only an opportunity to develop patience, resilience, and adaptability. When you accept that adversity is an unavoidable part of life, you no longer fear difficulties. Instead, you seek ways to use them to become sharper, tougher, and wiser. Remember, no one grows in comfort. The strongest individuals are not those who have never faced hardship, but those who have learned to use challenges to elevate themselves. The Stoics did not run from adversity. They embraced it as a teacher, knowing that every obstacle in the path is a stepping stone to something greater. Stoic philosophy is not an abstract theory or a doctrine reserved for the sages of the past. It is a practical way of living, a tool to train our minds, regulate our emotions, and face life with greater intention. I believe that none of us can escape hardship, but how we respond to it defines who we are. And if there is one lesson Stoicism has taught me, it is that self-mastery is the key to mastering life. Stoicism does not demand that we overhaul our lives overnight. It simply asks us to start small, by adjusting how we react to a new day, to a negative comment, or to an unexpected challenge. If I could offer you one piece of advice, it would be this: try starting tomorrow differently. Don't check your phone the moment you wake up. Take a minute to breathe. Reflect on 3 things you are grateful for, and identify the 3 most important tasks of the day. When you do this long enough, you'll realize that life doesn't need to become easier. You simply become stronger. If these principles resonate with you, start applying them tomorrow morning. Just choose one habit to implement and observe the difference it makes. And don't forget to leave a comment below. Share your experience or how you incorporate Stoicism into your daily life. If you want to continue exploring Stoic wisdom, check out the next video on this channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss content that helps you grow every day. Take control of your morning. Take control of your life. See you in the next video.